north, east, south, and west, it's time for a news update from Gals Guide Library and Research Center. Welcome to the 5th edition of the Gals Guide to the Galaxy News for October 16th, 2019. I'm Dr. Leah Leach, the Executive Director of Gals Guide to the Galaxy. This episode is brought to you by aliens. Why? 'Cause aliens. When it comes to science, technology, engineering, and math, it seems that we either strive to master these skills for our ever-thirsty quench to contact aliens from another planet, or it's aliens who get the credit for our science, technology, engineering, and math feats. So if you were one of those 3,000 people who showed up to storm Area 51, or one of the 2 million who signed up for the Facebook event saying that you were going to storm Area 51, or if you're a listener to this show and there was no way that you were going to storm Area 51, but you think it's hilarious that I know how many people signed up and how many people showed up, I'm not saying it's aliens, but aliens. So beam me up, baby, because we've got news. We start with library news. We made our final book purchases with a grant from the Open Meadows Foundation. We are happy to report that Gals Guide was able to buy 657 books because of this fantastic grant. We averaged $2.62 a book. We found many rare and out-of-print books, and because we bought mainly used books, we recycled. Our collection has now grown to 1,193 women's history books. We are working on book drives at pop-up locations throughout the year. The first book drive will be at Starbase Indy during Thanksgiving weekend, and more about Starbase Indy in a moment. So if you are thinking about paring down a few of your books, keep Gals Guide in mind. We will take all of your books. We're looking for books that are written by women or about women, and we'll gladly have those in the library. But the books that don't fit our mission, we can sell those and raise more money for the library. So remember, Gals Guide is always looking for books. Included in the last purchases of our books, our library manager, Bonnie, is most excited about Pirate Women, the Princess, Prostitutes, and Privateers Who Ruled the Seven Seas by Laura Suk Duncombe. Also, The History of Women's Club Movement in America by Mrs. Jane Cunningham Crowley, and Born with Teeth, a memoir by Kate Mulgrew, aka Captain Janeway, for Star Trek fans. Each month, we look for books in a specific research field. For October, we're looking for books about women in STEM. Already this month, our listener Rebecca sent us a copy of Women in Science, which is on our STEM list. A few more books on the list that we are looking for is Marie Curie and Her Daughters by Shelley Emling, Women of Steel and Stone, 22 Inspirational Architects, Engineers, and Landscape Designers by Anna M. Lewis, Madame Wu Shang-Shu, the First Lady of Physics Research by Shang Tais Chen, or My Sister Rosalind Franklin by Jennifer Glynn. Bonnie put together a list of 20 titles that would be perfect addition for the library, and these are just a few of them. If you would like to send us these books either from Amazon Smile or from your personal collection, or to even see what other titles are on the list, check out our website at galsguide.org and click on that library tab. The team at Gals Guide is working on possible pop-up event in March of 2020. It's Women's History Month all month long, and we would love to celebrate amazing women's stories that we have at the library. We're working on a crowdfunding campaign as well as grants and corporate supporters. So if you would like to help us with this pop-up event, email us at info@galsguide.org. We could really use all the help that we could get to make this a reality. Changing to research news, we're celebrating and shining a spotlight on women in STEM in our book lists, in our articles, and in our podcasts. On galsguide.org, we have great articles about women in STEM like Hedy Lamarr, the Hidden Figures Gals, and Eva Elksblad. Now, you may not have heard of Eva, but she saved Sweden with vodka. Eva Elksblad was born in Sweden in 1724 to a well-to-do family. At the age of 16, she married a count. She could have just entertained nobility and taken care of her 7 children, but this gal had a brain for science. In the castle kitchen, she experimented with potatoes. Potatoes were introduced to Sweden in 1658, and they were only available to nobles. She noticed how hardy the crop was and became determined to find more uses for it so she could bring it to the people. Her first discovery was creating potato flour. Then she made alcohol of it. You know, potato vodka. Now, we can't say she invented vodka or even invented potato vodka because it is highly debated. But Sweden was facing multiple famines and food shortages. Bringing multiple uses of potatoes to her people greatly improved the country's diet. Now, it did lead to a spike in alcoholic consumption across Northern Europe, but hey, what can you do? Eva was the first woman elected to the Royal Swedish Academy of Sciences, and sometimes she's called an honorary member because the academy was only open to men at the time. So you could say she was early science royalty. Previous podcast episodes that we have also done on STEM gals are Women Who Made the Internet, Liz Miner. Throughout this month on Flashback Friday, you're going to hear about 2 of the hidden figures that aired on our sister show, Your Gal Friday. When it comes to our brand new research, we have them every Monday right here on the Gal's Guide to the Galaxy podcast. So far, you have heard me talk about 16-year-old climate change activist Greta Thunberg. I already had to get into a social media row with somebody who age-shamed Greta on my page. Now, I kept a calm head and tried to keep my mama bear in check, but posting that on the domain, in my women's history positivity, oh, hell no, and I did say something about it. You've also heard Lisa Meese talk about the first African-American woman in space and Lego figure, Mae Jemison. Coming up, Bonnie finds the first computer bug, and I sit down with Lisa for our second only interview on the channel to learn more about Starbase Indy. So start your week off by downloading the Gals Guide podcast, and you'll never have a case of the Mondays, and that work week with Flashback Friday that ties into our research theme. As always, check out the research tab on galsguide.org so you can see all of our research discoveries. Changing to podcast updates, we always ask the Gal Pals if they have any updates or any new discoveries to their One Cool Thing, and this month we have 2. Back in March, Katie's One Cool Thing was about women's history trails. Well, there is a new stop to add if you are in Indianapolis. May Wright Sewell got a state historical marker on October 4th. The state marker is in the Veterans Memorial Plaza in downtown Indianapolis, and it reads, after moving to Indianapolis in 1874, Sewell gained renown as an educator, proponent of the arts, and women's suffrage leader. She co-founded many institutions and civic clubs to promote equality for women, including the Indianapolis Propileum, located nearby from 1891 to 1923. During World War I, it served as a center for the Red Cross drives and military service members' recreation. Sewell promoted women's suffrage throughout her lectures, writings, and organizational leadership. She helped establish the Indianapolis Equal Suffrage Society in 1878 and the International Council of Women in 1888. And years later, she advocated for international peace. Sewell died 1 month before the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which secured women's suffrage. Another very cool update is actually about Dolly Parton. Now, Dolly was Katie's One Cool Thing back in July, and we came across this story, and Katie wanted y'all to know about it. I mean, I wanted y'all to know about it. It's a great story. So, according to an article from Parents Magazine by Jamie Pectrin, Dollywood is the first theme park in the world with a calming room for kids with autism. The article points out that theme parks can be overwhelming for any child, but a child with autism or sensory issues, it can be a major issue. The calming room features comfy chairs, a tent, low-level lighting, and sensory soothing items like a string of fiber optic lights. So good on you, Dollywood. We'll have links to both of these amazing updates in the show notes at galsguide.org. Changing to upcoming events, we have 2 events in November in the Indianapolis area. November 10th, Gals Guide is co-hosting a Spirit and Place Festival event. A panel of authors, cosplayers, and yours truly will be talking about the evolution of sci-fi fandom. The November 10th event is free and open to all. The event is on Eventbrite and Facebook. Search for Gals Guide. Hailing Frequencies Open, Captain. Gals Guide is hosting the Uhura Training Academy at Starbase Indy on Thanksgiving weekend. We have an entire room during the Star Trek convention to beam up amazing presentations about female inventors and scientists. The idea of Uhura Training Academy is, what would Uhura teach? We took her 5 amazing skills and talents in communication, navigation, science, history, and performance, and we filled a whole weekend with amazing programming that is not only included with your Starbase Indy badge, but you can also earn your certificate of completion from the Uhura Training Academy. Well, it's really cool, but you gotta get that Starbase Indy badge to join in on the fun, and we'll be having a book drive. So visit starbaseindy.org for all the details. New in the Gals Guide Redbubble shop this month, I teased it on the news episode last month, but Bonnie's line of, "Is a hot dog a sandwich?" is now in our Redbubble shop. You can get this fabulous graphic on stickers, shirts, and more. So go to redbubble.com and search Gals Guide. All the proceeds from our shop go to the Gals Guide Library. There are lots of ways to support Gals Guide, and you might know this one, but you might not. We're actually a Kroger Rewards supporter. This means you can link your little Kroger tag to Gals Guide, and we get a little donation from Kroger at no extra cost to you. The reason why I say you might not know this is because we have one family signed up, and we have raised a whopping $1.37. So we could really use your help. This is a quick and free way to support Gals Guide, and we could really use the help, especially with trying to build the first women's history library. So link that Kroger Rewards card to Gals Guide. In the Kroger app, it's really easy, but on the site, it's a little trickier, so search for Community Rewards or just go to galsguide.org. We always have a link on our supporters tab that will get you right where you need to be. Well, that is the news for now. If I talked way too fast, and I always talk way too fast, but all the links and details to everything I mentioned for this month's news are at galsguide.org. So stay tuned, because Flashback Friday is a Kate's Take live special about Star Trek recorded at Starbase Indy, and Monday is Bonnie's One Cool STEM Thing. So until then, read on, Galactic Glamazons.